This program and its contents are designed for information and educational purposes only. This program does not render medical advice or professional services and is not intended to be a substitute for professional care. The information provided here should not be used for the purposes of diagnosing or treating a medical or psychiatric condition. If you have or suspect you may have a health problem, consult your healthcare provider.
Hello, and welcome to Spirit Works. I'm Theresa Falk, your host, and this is Ilona Holland. And your business is Life Dimensions by Ilona. And you know, our paths have crossed many years ago with Mind, Body, Spirit.
Yes.
And I feel like we haven't even missed a bit. I loved following you on Facebook. I always feel your energy. You are such an awesome person. Thank you for being here with me.
It's a pleasure.
You are a licensed massage therapist, and you are a yoga teacher with a passion for facilitating healthy and understanding in mind, body, spirit. On that note, what I would like to do, if you would like, share with us, please, what your philosophy and how you utilize that in your business, as well as just who you are as a person.
Who I am as a person, I'm still figuring out, but so far...
You're doing all right. You're doing all right.
Joking aside, Theresa, again, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here. And yes, our paths have crossed many years ago, and every time we get together, it's like there's never been any space in between.
Mm-hmm.
And I myself, along with you and others, perhaps, this journey doesn't cease. It continues to evolve. But up until this day, I found my calling at a very young age, and that was, the journey of health and wellness in body, mind, and spirit. I keep getting inspired each and every day, sometimes not each and every day, but for the most part, I did find my calling and have brought the philosophy of understanding the body, mind, and spirit and all its facets and levels and, nooks and crannies.
As you say that, I want to ask you, is this derived from your parents, or is this just something you had that you brought with you as your mission?
I never have said, because, for a while my parents, I think we all have that, like, oh, I can't stand my parents, right? So I would not have attributed this to them. But of late, I realized that it's them that kept me getting curious, be it a kind gesture, be it losing their temper, be it the kind of parenting style, and then their own personal journey, just kind of watching from afar as a child. You kind of notice things that you ponder, and then it hit me in certain phases in life as an adult, and then becoming a mother myself. Mm-hmm. That sense of understanding, like being a mom for the first time, finally I could understand where my mother was coming from. At that point, before that happened, I just could not understand. So little things that kept me curious, and then just on a physiological and simple level as well, just kind of curiously, why is my dad's calf cramping? And just kind of researching and being like, diet could have a part to do with it, and so on. Or, why do we have fever? And these kind of things that kept me curious about this, I was always interested in that. And
what age did you say did this specifically start? That's interesting. Correlate that. If I'm to look back, for example, I always had a fascination with people losing their temper, or getting angry. Okay.
That was one of my fascinations. And, like what would trigger it, how, and then, dove into perception and kind of the mindset, and then triggers into our five senses and how we process data.
Deepness does not surprise me with you as a child.
So I always, mind you, I was not the grade A student. I would say that probably a lot of teachers wanted me out of school,
Right.
I was pretty much, the joker, and I just, gave some of my teachers a pretty hard time. But that then segued into sports, and that's where I was an athlete. I ran short distance sprints at school, and then my physical education teacher would sign us up for some kind of semi to long distance runs and so forth. And there, I got into water aerobics and kind of fitness
Okay.
fitness classes.
Mhm.
And that's kind of was my segue into then meeting with clients and their own experiences, kind of having me question further and further into, oh, this next. So I really feel it's divinely led.
Yes, I agree, totally. You came with your mission, you received what you needed, you rebelled as you needed, and then you were led on that path when you were ready.
And as I rebelled, that is the thing. As I rebelled, I feel that higher source, or let's say, I'm just going to stick with divine for simple, connection to. The more I rebelled, if there was a lesson to be learned, it's like, okay, you want a year and a half to learn this, then go ahead and take it, because
Right.
you're still going to learn it.
But if we look back, it is amazing the things that we've experienced in life, and we think, holy cow, was I ever protected and led in that?
Yes.
A lot of us that are intuitives and have our spiritual guidance, it's amazing. You had
It
a few of
is.
those, didn't you?
It is. So that's the business, that's my passion, along with a team of right now, ladies. We had males on the team, but right now it's just solely ladies. And we dive deep into different, paths.
Who do you have and what are their modalities that go along with yours?
Okay, so just a little bit about where we are now, and as things progress, they may change or will change. We've got 4 members on the team. It's myself, Ashley, Kate, and Ronnie. And then our modalities are, again, split into body, mind, and spirit.
Okay.
And next door to us, so literally in the same suite, we share space with Studio Bliss Yoga. They're a
Oh,
separate
okay.
business, but Chelsea Luth owns Studio Bliss, and we are blessed because we have a yoga studio now where we can offer our clients the chance to take classes.
That
And
energy that just shares the space, right?
it's vibration all around.
Yes.
All around.
Right.
But Chelsea Luth then offers the fitness aspect, but also the exercise therapy aspect. So people that have knee replacements, hips, and so forth can come in. It's accessible because the minute you see yoga, a lot of people think it's not something I can do.
Right.
And I cannot tell you, we've had people that said no. I said, please, if you don't, I said, I can't tell everyone this. If you don't find it accessible, I'll take you out to lunch because it's going to be expensive. No,
Right.
but joking aside, come try it. We're all very skilled in offering variations and so forth. So we have that as the physical, mental, and spiritual aspect, but then Life Dimensions goes into not only massage therapy, but theta healing, so working with self-limiting beliefs, which, a chapter in this book is mine, and it's about the beliefs we take on, not only from past lives, but people that are, we're surrounded by people. My kids spend the majority of their time with their teachers. I realized, as I calculated the hours, I'm like, whoa, they're more, at school than they are with me over the course of a week.
Right.
And definitely everyone has the best of intentions. Their teachers are just such great teachers. Our grandparents were so great, and our parents, and everyone has good intentions. But sometimes the way, again, we perceive things, or the way our mood is, and where we are, our mindset, the minute someone says something and we've absorbed it, that could carry on.
Right.
And so
Right.
I've seen my self-limiting beliefs, which got me into theta healing. And then I had friends of mine that would be like, oh no, I would never get a massage. And I said, well, how come? Well, I will not, remove my clothing for anybody. And I said, no, there's so many other ways. You can have your palms worked on, your feet. You can have a chair massage where you're fully clothed. So by no means do you have to derobe. So then we started venturing into, shiatsu, which is a lot of acupressure points.
Mm-hmm.
Kate does a lot of artful healing. So we work with families and children. Rock therapy, so they can design rocks and then also look at rocks and kind of see what it says to them and their interpretation. Lots of canvas painting, and then Kate painting for you intuitively, cards and readings, and so much more.
Go into the rocks a little bit more. That's interesting. I've never heard of that. So are you talking crystal rocks or just rocks and?
So the client or whoever is booked for a session is going to either pick their rocks, so they've gone on Kate will work with them and say, hey, intuitively go for a walk in nature, etc., and then you're going to collect your own rocks. We do have a collection in the studio, and then if they don't have the facility to go for a walk, We
Right.
have rocks available, and then they'll choose their own rocks out of that collection.
Right.
And what they've chosen, and then looking at the rock and how they turn it around, and kind of the part that they, you know, point out
Yes.
is reflective of their journey, and what do they see, what's the interpretation. And Kate works with them on a meditation. We've got some lovely music going and some
That
tea.
is so neat.
So-
So personal.
It's personal, and it's parts of life that I myself, now I'm in this field, and I find myself getting caught up in the just kind of over and over into my head, you
Right.
know? And I'm like, whoa, okay. So this takes you out a little bit of kind of thinking of, you know, the financial and the stability and this and that, which we get too sometimes focused on and centered on. That it takes us away from our intuitivity, our intuition, our creativity, our gifts.
Right, exactly. And I've always shared that too, is when you have something as simple as a rock that can guide you as a sign that's been given to you by Spirit, you're so much more empowered by Spirit than you are within that human box that we put ourselves into, which we briefly talked about, that people see themselves in the community box and they don't realize they can step out of it, which goes hand in hand again with what we shared. Families, each person has a different journey. So you
Yes.
can't expect them to be what your expectation as what a mother in a box should be.
You know, I think for me, I notice a lot of the expectations come from fear, you know what I mean? Because you want to just kind of protect them, or,
Right.
you know, cotton ball
That
every
makes
child,
perfect
you know?
sense.
And then
In
the
today's
fear
world.
itself, yeah, restricts them, restricts me, you know, as a mom. But, you know, back to the whole creativity and the concept of being or jumping outside the box. And a lot of times I've heard this, not necessarily every time, but how we feel if you're in, you know, on a mountain, or if you're somewhere in nature where it's just such a vast, you know, expansive, you know, wildlife and so on, and you feel so little,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
But you pick something up, like you pick a rock, and you pick that rock out of everything that surrounds you, you know, and that was meant to be. And you are that rock in this big, you know,
Yep.
you're an Omaha, you're in Council Bluffs, but you're that precious rock that is going to bring meaning and life into someone else, you know, into your surroundings.
So profound.
you know.
And you, as myself, I tell people when in my sessions as well, I still am amazed what Spirit can do, because we're learning every day.
Oh yeah.
And as you are with what they bring you,
And
that you can give others.
and it never ceases. I mean, until
Right. Right. And how do you feel with I'm telling me to bring this up that we had talked about. The modalities of the careers that we've chosen go hand in hand with the spirit, mind, body, spirit. Did you take any classes that brought you into counseling that you brought this together with? Or did you bring it as full spirit before taking the modality of a career?
So, if I'm understanding you correctly.
I know, I'm kind of going in circles.
So,
So,
no,
yeah.
it's good. So, you know, as I started progressing and I felt the calling, you know, just being with my parents and our family dynamic at home, and noticing everyone just kind of bringing their own color to the canvas.
I love that.
You know,
Yes. Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking, you know, for a while I didn't want to be part of this canvas.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
I don't like the
you know,
picture.
No,
Right.
no. And you artists are not my thing, you know. But
You are not my thing.
but there
I love
again, I finally came to realize they are, you know, they were the
You fit on there
artists
somewhere.
that the divine paired me up with, you know,
Yes.
and I couldn't see it. And we made a beautiful picture. We still are, you know.
Yeah, right.
But that progressed me to take different certifications and different, you know, courses and degrees and so forth as I went along.
Educationally, like in
Education.
school? Okay.
Educationally.
Okay.
Educationally. And then there were moments when it wasn't education, but in the, you know, in the lineage of like spirit, where you find your mentor, your teacher, and
Yeah.
then it is just passed on. And there is no official certification with a stamp, you know, and you got an A and so forth. But just through the blessing and the passing on from tribe to tribe, or from ancestor to, you know, down the lines.
Right.
And that, you know, there's no certification for that.
So you are bringing that mind, body, spirit together so people
Yes.
can understand it on the human level versus what spirit is bringing them to grow.
And we bring, you know, when some people arrive, whether it's Life Dimensions by Ilona and again other businesses around town.
Right.
Yes, there are those people that need the credentials. They need to know you've been in an institute or university or something like that, and you hold some kind of valid certification.
Exactly.
And that is, I don't, for me it's important if that's where you're coming from. Now, if if our business did not hold up on those certifications, I wouldn't be able to say that. But we are all, licensed in all modalities and so forth. But then there are certain things that do not require certification. You know what I mean?
Right.
When we're out in nature or we're doing certain readings and so forth, that I was lucky. I grew up with grandparents that did healing with vegetables and herbs, and
Oh, nice.
you
Right.
had oil in your ear, and you
Ye-
had celery, used for this and honey used for that. And I experienced it, so it's not something that I looking at and go like, oh gosh, what are these people talking
Right.
about? So
You
that's
walk the
where
walk.
and so with Sven and Freya, now they're Swiss Norwegian. Their dad background is Swiss Norwegian. So I'm still looking and diving into kind of what, Norway and these countries, what did they bring to the,
Phenomenal.
I'm from Malta, so.
Congratulations, you became an American citizen as well.
Malta is American.
Congratulations
yes.
for that.
It was a long journey. I still, for days, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that it had finally,
It's happened.
happened.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very, I'm honored. It's an honor to be.
Well, we're honored to have you.
Yes. So.
Absolutely. But going back to, and that's what I mean by being in the box. All of us have gifts for a different reason, and we help in a different way. But some people need that tangible evidence that you have something under your belt, as well as that something other that they're trying to get themselves into, and they have a foothold. And you have that,
Yes.
and that's so for people that are comfortable with that. It's a fabulous
Yes.
way to start.
And so we have something, at least I say we have something for everybody. If we don't, when people do come to us and we realize, maybe actually we don't have what you need, then we refer out. We work with so many other businesses and know so many amazing people around community.
And let me step into, you talking about community. You work with first responders. Free Weights and Freedom. Love that name. Relaxation mini retreat. Expound upon that a little bit. I love
Yes.
that.
So Free Weights and Freedom, just to kind of keep everyone in the loop, Adam Tripp and Sarah Williams Porter and their clan that formed the nonprofit is basically targeted to raising funds for first responders and their spouses to offer them avenues of healthy ways to unwind and de-stress. They offer memberships to different fitness centers, massage therapy, so that's where we're partnered with them to offer these holistic modalities. Studio Bliss Yoga offers them yoga class passes and so forth. So they have, and we partnered with them on this relaxation mini retreat. So we got together for just a couple hours. Most of it is a bit of intro, and we leave some space at the end to take questions or just kind of gather and drink some tea. And then this particular retreat was tied into some yoga, some mindfulness. We did some somatic meditation. We also did some light, movement and kind of gentle Tai Chi, Qigong type of style, if you were to compare.
Right.
And then some relaxation therapy. And we just throw in, based on the people in attendance, energetically, we kind of feel what's needed today.
Right, to help them heal.
And that's the tricky part when we do describe these mini retreats. Yes, people want information. They want to know, what are we doing beginning to end. And I'm trying, along with any partners, to say, okay, let us not just say this is it. Kind of leave a little bit of space and wiggle room, because not everybody is going to need yoga in the posture.
Right.
Part of yoga, because then you have meditation, you have the breath work. So we're kind of trying to say like, hey, come on over, this is kind of what you're to, enjoy, but we might change it a little bit.
Right, for whatever you need, it's going to be available.
Yes.
So how long is the retreat? Do they just get onto your page? And
Yes, so we do have, we're going to be having another one in May, potentially not through first responders, but maybe with another group, but we're trying to work with them again on another one. But they do get on the website, Life
Okay.
Dimensions website or Facebook as well.
Okay.
That's where all our events are up on the site or Facebook through Eventbrite. So they'll be able to get tickets. We do encourage tickets even though it's a free event, just for preparation purposes. And then we know,
Absolutely.
you
That
know,
makes
kind of
sense.
have a head count.
So what, the mini retreat? To me, a retreat could be days. Are we talking just hours? Are we talking a day?
So you can retreat, you know, it's just some time to yourself. It's just some time to fill up your reservoir, fill up your cup with something that is more nourishing.
Yes.
Okay, now we do say that everyone is open. If they feel after 5 minutes that's enough for today, then you're free and you don't have to, you know, complete the. We like people to stay and hang around, just kind of support the group, but it's different for everyone. We found that 90 minutes
Okay.
to 2 hours is a good starting point.
Yes.
Just somebody that has never done it before,
It's overwhelming sometimes.
it's very overwhelming. You know, I work in this, so I'm just like, ooh, let's go. you
I know, I
Yeah.
know. And we think they're right on board, and we're like,
Yeah.
oh, wait, yeah.
But even then, so you say relaxation, this could be different for everybody.
Not everybody relaxes like we know they can.
And so I say to them as well, they turn up and I say, no, it's normal if you're feeling like you have questions or you feel a bit anxious, you're in a new place, you don't know this woman with this
You don't want to look dumb.
with this accent, who is
Abs-
she? You know, you got to contend with that. And
Right.
then you've got
Uh-huh. Right.
so there you go. You got the two, you know, major ones. But you come on in, myself and Chelsea, for example, we're very welcoming, you know,
Yes.
and the intention is we want everybody to be there.
And they feel welcome.
Yes.
So even if you don't
We-
want to partake, definitely come and just sit in the background.
Yes.
Watch
Come and
how it
have a
works.
yes.
Yes, feel that energy.
Have a look. Come and sit.
It's safe.
It does. We do require, you know, silence. We do require if someone's going to watch the event just to kind of get comfortable. And then we know we're dealing with first responders, so the stress levels are heightened.
Right.
Again, there's no right or wrong, or there's no rules. Just come on in, trying to keep.
First responders, like we in spiritual, sometimes it's hard to get help when we need it because we're taking care of others as they are and they don't think they deserve. So it's nice that these open arms are welcome to let them understand that they can take care of themselves as well.
You know, the thing is that, again, I don't want to veer off topic, but myself and yourself, right, you're giving so much to people. Well, I see my clients every day. You know, there's an element of being authentic because, you
Yes.
know, then your clients get to know you. So they say, how's Sven, how's Freya? Well, you know,
Right.
they've got a fever. Okay, I shouldn't have said that if they had a fever. You know, I'm bringing their, you know,
Right.
right?
But it's all right.
But joking aside, you don't then go into the deep personal stuff.
Right.
And first responders, I mean, you're giving to people. You're not going to tell someone that's on your, you know, table that this experience is, you know, relating to you on another occasion that you went through, or you're going to be, you know, bawling your eyes out. But then you back yourself up, potentially into a corner where you feel like you can't seek help outwardly because you might go for help and you might unravel, and you're trying to keep it together.
Right. Right. And you need to get rid of that other so that you can re-strengthen
Yeah.
that area that was weakened.
And so we deal, you know, I have, you know, my education goes into, you know, trauma and stress. We are a trauma-informed and suicide-informed studio, so we are a business that has been finally got our certification in that. And we work with this because there's trauma on different levels. It doesn't have to be a super, you know,
Absolutely.
mind-blowing experience, but trauma is when you're kind of in overload and then you break that the fourth piece of the cycle that is not completely fulfilled, and that's, you know, retained in the body. And then we work again with this in the retreat, kind of mindful of if these are first responders or their spouses, that we have this kind of in the back of our heads and how we would.
Is it an open forum, or if they want to speak to you individually because they don't want to share open forum, is that available as well?
Exactly. So the group retreat, there's, you know, we're not sharing or going around in a circle. We're just getting together,
Okay.
and we just kind of hold space for everybody to stretch and move and just kind of release as they need. And then we're available after to have private or one-on-one sessions. Or some of the people have also sought our services, down the line. Give us a call, get in for a session, and we see what they need.
That goes hand in hand with this beautiful quote that you have. Everyone deserves to be tenderly loved and cared for. Everyone deserves to be held. That gives me goosebumps. That's beautiful. That goes hand in hand with everything that you were talking about.
You know, it's, for me, and I don't want to cry
I know, I feel it.
on air, but for me, I am not perfect. I've made mistakes, and so I have been blessed with family members and friends that have forgiven me for certain things, and just receiving that hug after, you know, you've made a mistake and you're just kind of like, it's okay, you know, we're going to do this together. A lot of people don't have that because they're still on the guilt trip of things they've done, things that can't be erased potentially, but you can always, you know, say, I'm going to make changes now. And so to have people get on our table or even come to our studio and just, you see that they feel they don't deserve it, that they feel unworthy, and that we can offer that and help them and their family members to come together and finally see the truth for what it is.
Sometimes we just need that permission, especially from someone who doesn't know us and realizes that this is something that is what other people go through, and it's okay.
And people that are alone, and people that, you know, we don't touch in the physical. Yes, there's scientific proof that it is a healing part of what we need. That, you know, when they've quarantined babies alone, you start to see, you know, that the baby starts to die. You start to see that if there isn't that touch, you know, that's healing. But you can also touch someone with a smile or a look in their eyes or a little gesture. So you can start touching people in other ways.
I've always shared this story, and I feel like I want to share it with you, with what you do, suicides and such. And you may have heard this. There was a high schooler that decided one day he was going to go home and commit suicide because he wasn't happy. And he had dropped his books, and someone that he really didn't know came across and picked up his books and helped him. And it just makes me want to cry. And I will. Shoot. Anyway, he told him many years later that he didn't commit suicide because he found a friend. It goes hand in hand. And with that, I want you to step into your grace and gratitude that you wrote about.
So this is an anthology book with a dozen or so other women
Yes,
that
and
we
your
compiled.
chapter in
Yes,
here.
so yeah.
And we are wrapping up, so let's just take a quick minute if we could and share that about your grace and gratitude.
The chapter is about, you know, living from a place of grace and gratitude with all blessings, even if you don't see them in the moment. It's part of the bigger picture, and then at the end, noticing that everyone in your life is there for a reason, and the people in that chapter saw the light in me, even though there were ones that, you know, saw me as, you know, a rebel or maybe not complying to the people in the box, you know, style of things.
Right.
To keep seeing the light in others and to lift them up and to just give them hope that they are a gift to this earth, to this planet, and they need to shine their gifts.
And you have beautiful gifts along with your life dimensions. And if you want to know more about Ilona and what she does, the information will be, as it is scrolling down, you'll be able to find that. You can find her on Facebook as well. So again, this is Spirit Works. I am Theresa Falk. This is Ilona. Thank you so much for sharing your journey.
Thank you for watching. Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you again.